Hi there, my name is Vienna Leonarduzzi. I'm a Study Abroad Program Specialist at Michigan Tech, and I work within the Pavlis Honors College. Today I'm going to talk about Michigan Tech Study Abroad programs, some scholarship opportunities, and the application process. To start, we will watch a video of one of our students who studied abroad in Uruguay with USAC.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me in my day from Uruguay. So I start out with a shower, and with a towel, and then I make some breakfast. Toast and toast in there. Then I eat it pretty quickly, and then after that I brush my teeth and get ready to head out the door. I'm going to my first class, and class is actually advanced Spanish. I can take one of two routes. This is the longer route, which is La Rambla, and a very beautiful walk. Most of the time. Here's a normal route, which isn't as fun, but I'm actually going to my professor's apartment and we make sure we're very well taken care of. We get water, and then she eventually gives us a break for coffee, snacks. It's very kind, and we love having her. We all really love break time because it's a nice time to get around and just chat about everything. And here's my professor. She's so kind. So after class, we usually like to get lunch at this one place called Lemon Branch. It's pretty cheap and it's very close to the university. It's a really good place to get bananas and varieties of it. So then I make my trek to literature class. This is my professor. She's so kind. And then later, we like to go to this coffee shop that's really close to the university for a break. They're very nice there. They've got a lot of great things. One of my favorite things is that they have snacks. The snacks are really good. They always have a variety of different. Today they had turkey and muffins and some fruits. I ended up going with the macchiato and the cherry. So then I get out of classes and then get back home. So Positos is a very, very awesome food. And although it's very residential with its apartment complex and sort, it's also got a lot of things going on. There are a lot of cafes, a lot of places to hang out, a lot of green areas, and of course, La Rambla, which I showed you earlier. All right, so here's the final block of my journey to Positos, and this is my apartment complex. So we go inside, and lock the door, and I get a little bit because I always have trouble with this one. Down on the patio, I don't know, just kind of like sit together with the family, drink matcha, and just chat and stuff. But we sit out here on my stage and just, yeah, kind of relax. It's a nice space to be. So now I'm on my way to another part of the city to see that Vieja, which is a very artsy part of the town. I am going to this museum, which has an art exhibit today, and I'm showing some Cuban films. I really like that, although Montevideo is kind of a small city, it has a lot of cultural events like this, and the park is very active. So after I leave, it is fun. So it's actually pretty normal for the weather to change pretty rapidly. It can go from sunny and beautiful to rainy, miserable, and dry. But it's totally okay. You just have to be prepared. Here I am with my host mom, Rosanna. Tonight we're having salad. Got some tomato, lettuce, rice. So with all of that being shown, your mileage can vary. There are a bunch of things to do, a lot of cool theatrical events, and you have an asado, maybe play some soccer by La Rambla with your friends, or go see cows at your favorite swimming hole while drinking matcha. With that being said, there's always something to do around here. Once again, thank you for joining, and this goat wants to say hi.
So that was an inside look to a Michigan Tech student studying abroad. So some benefits to having an international experience. There are career advantages. So as you know, Michigan Tech has career fair every semester, and the recruiters are looking for students who've done things outside the classroom, and having an international experience is going to be an example of an activity outside the classroom. they are aware of the skills that you're gaining from that international experience. So things like critical thinking, adaptability, flexibility. So when you look at job descriptions, you may see some of those desired skills on that list. So again, having international experience is going to set you apart from your peers who maybe have not had an international experience. It's going to help you then get that job, that internship, or that co-op. There are academic advantages to studying abroad. So first off, study abroad does not affect your GPA. So the courses that you're taking abroad, they will be evaluated for Michigan Tech credit. So before you go on your program, you will know exactly what you're going to receive from that course that you're taking abroad, but it will not affect your Michigan Tech GPA. So as long as you pass the course in that country's grading system, so for example, if you're taking a math course and you get a C, a B, and A, you will pass the class. So as long as you pass it in that country's grading system, you will receive an exchange pass on your Michigan Tech transcript. If you happen to fail the course, you receive an exchange F, so EF on your Michigan Tech transcript. Regardless, EP, EF, it will not affect your Michigan Tech GPA. There are unique course offerings to choose from. So for example, windsurfing, salsa dancing, those are courses that may be equivalent to Michigan Tech PE courses. Also looking at maybe cuisine classes in India or in France. Those may be able to be equivalent to humanities credit at Michigan Tech. Also, going abroad is a great opportunity to break away from Michigan Tech's rigorous academic schedules and culture. So maybe you're looking for an opportunity to take some of your gen eds abroad and be in a different location for that time. It's just a nice way to kind of break away from, you know, multiple quizzes and exams and reflections. And that may not be the case in the country or the school that you're going to. So, and then it's an opportunity to learn from international educators or just educators outside of Michigan Tech. Personal benefits to having international experience, so self-discovery, self-growth, so you learn a lot about yourself. You may find that you're someone who's okay trying new things. Maybe you're someone who likes to have a schedule, knowing what's going to happen day to day. Or maybe you'll find out that you're okay not knowing what's going to happen throughout the day. Maybe you want to try some new things like horseback riding, or like I mentioned before, windsurfing, or maybe you want to learn a new language while you're abroad. Some of like the wild card benefits, so money. So as a Michigan Tech student, you can use your Michigan Tech financial aid and scholarships to pay for your program. So if you have any aid right now, you'll just want to check with the financial aid office at Michigan Tech to make sure that can be applied towards your study abroad program. Now's the time to go because you don't have a lot of adult responsibilities. Most likely you don't. So if you were to wait till after college to study abroad or just go abroad, that's great, but you may not have, you know, scholarships that you can apply for. So study abroad scholarships, or maybe you end up having, you know, a full-time job and it's hard to get vacation. Going abroad is also an opportunity to make new friends from around the world. You become a globally in tune citizen. And of course, you'll have great content for Instagram, Snapchat, and even your TikTok. So now I'm going to run through our programs. This is a quick overview. So if you want to learn more about these programs, visit our website, or you can watch the next video, which is a Study Abroad 101 video, where I dive more into these programs. But first off, we have the European Project Semester, also known on campus as EPS. So this is an opportunity for our engineering students who are going to be taking senior design. And as you may know, with Michigan Tech Senior Design, it is a 2-semester program. But with EPS, you can complete those 2 semesters worth of credits in 1 semester with the EPS program. So you would pick a school from one of the locations that we have available. So for example, Kiel, Germany, we have a program there in the spring, and you would attend that school, the EPS program, and you will be placed on a project team with other international students, and together you're completing a project for a real company that's in that location. So maybe it's something to do with automobiles, and you're then applying and using your mechanical engineering background towards that project. And then maybe on your team, there's an electrical engineer or computer science student. And together you're going to be applying your academic expertise to that project. So very similar to how senior design is done at Michigan Tech. But the key thing here is that you can complete it in the 1 semester's time. In addition to the project, you will be taking module courses, so things like project management, team building, and these are equivalent to Michigan Tech's enterprise credits. So in addition to your senior design credits, you will be receiving enterprise credits. Nice thing is it's taught in English, and the cost of the program is the same as your Michigan Tech tuition. So exactly what your tuition would be if you're at Michigan Tech for that semester, that's what your bill would be for. Then we have reciprocal exchange in these following locations. Similar to EPS, the cost is Tech tuition. You'll be taking courses with local and international students. It's definitely an independent experience where you'll be working closely with that university's international office. So similar to how Michigan Tech has international programs and services for our international students, you would also be working then with that host university's international office. So whether it's cultural activities, the orientation that you receive when you get there. But again, this is an exchange where we send students to these schools and then they send students from those schools to Michigan Tech. So it's a great opportunity to learn about the different cultures. Michigan Tech faculty led, so these tend to be offered in the summer. There are a few that may not be offered in the summer. For example, Bahamas, which I don't see on my list right now. So the Bahamas spring break trip, that's for those who are taking the tropical biology course. But all the ones that are listed here, these are all offered in the summer, and these will be during either track A or track B. And the idea is that you're traveling abroad with Michigan Tech faculty and students taking Michigan Tech courses. And there's excursions involved. This picture here is from our students who went to Lima, Peru, where they took Spanish courses. And it's a good opportunity to take the courses that you need for graduation. So a lot of these programs are offering gen ed classes or HOS classes. So you'll probably find that there's courses that are being offered. Those courses are ones that you're going to need to graduate. And there's 24/7 on-site support from your faculty, and in some cases there may be additional program support on-site. Our next program model type is third-party provider. This is pretty popular. You can see there's a lot of logos here. So right off the top, International Studies Abroad, ISA. They also work with the Education Abroad Network team. So between these two programs, they have internship opportunities, service learning. ISA offers undergrad research all over the world. So Latin America, Europe, I think that's it for them. And then with teen, they offer the Pacific, so Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and then Asia. So China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and I believe India as well. But they have courses, for all majors. They have a lot of gen ed, HOS credit or courses. ISA has a lot of engineering programs. Housing will vary for each location, but housing types tend to be homestays where you live with the host family. Homestays tend to be in locations where students can learn that language. So like popular languages that you'd want to learn, so like German, Spanish, French, Italian. So you can pretty much count on there being homestay options in those areas. And then between the two, there's also excursions, so group excursions that you would participate in. And the cost of the programs will vary for each location. USAC is very similar to ISA. USAC has all the locations, so the Pacific, Asia, Latin America, Europe. They too have internship and service learning options in some of their locations. Same with ISA, there's only internships and service learning in certain locations. It's not everywhere. So keep that in mind. And USAC is known to have locations in the less traditional places. So when looking at Italy, for example, they're not going to have Florence and Milan, but they will have Reggio Emilia, Torino. For France, they won't have Paris, but they will have Lyon. ISA will have locations in those major cities. And USAC's housing, same thing as I mentioned before, depending on location, there'll be homestays, dorms, so on-campus dorms, apartments. Same goes for ISA dorms and off-campus apartments. Then we have University of Nicosia. So their program is global semesters, and this is located in Nicosia, Cyprus. So Cyprus is in the Mediterranean. It is a European country and it's an island. Global Semesters specializes in their pre-med program. So if you are looking to go to med school, this is a great school to get some pre-med experience. They do have a cadaver lab that you can work in, which is very unique at the undergrad level. So if you're looking to get in the cadaver lab, Global Semesters would be a good opportunity to do that. In addition to their med school program, they also are known for business. So Cyprus as a country is known as a business hub in Europe. So if you're looking for some international business experience, this would be a good program for that. They also have engineering programs and communications programs. I'll move up to the top here. Frontiers Abroad is a program in New Zealand. This is for students who are from geology, environmental science, natural sciences, and they have semester and summer options. They have a field study, like a field camp component that's for 5 weeks. That would be in the summer. And then if you want to also stay for a semester, it would be the 5 weeks of that field study. And then after that would be a semester program at a university. So that's a pretty neat program. Then we have Semester at Sea. That's where you live on a ship for a semester, visiting about 10 countries in that time. You live on that ship with your classmates, your faculty and your staff, and together you're sailing around the world, visiting those countries. Courses are taught on the ship. Course offerings tend to be lower divisions, so like that second year, maybe third year level courses, and they vary across the board in terms of types of classes. So business, communications, math and sciences. But again, just keep in mind that these are the lower level courses. Then we have Japan Center for Michigan Universities, JCMU for short. This is a unique program in Japan, Hakone, Japan, where it's an intensive Japanese language and culture program. They have a summer option where it's just the 10 credits of Japanese, and then semester would be the 10 credits of Japanese and some elective courses. NCA Fame is located in Cergy, France, and that is for our electrical and computer engineering students, and it's designed for students in their second and possibly their third year. Talk with your advisor if you are from that major area and learn more about that program. Moving on to financial resources. So as I mentioned in the beginning, you can use your current financial aid towards your program. So some expenses that you'll be paying, so is tuition. Some of the programs have a program fee, so we'll be comparing your tech tuition to the program fee. Whichever is greater is what you'll be paying. So when looking at those third-party provider programs, they all have a program fee. So for example, ISA, a program in Italy, the fee may be, let's say, $14,000. That does include your housing and some excursions and your orientation. And then of course your tuition to that university. So we'll compare that $14,000 to your Michigan Tech tuition. Whichever is greater is what you will be billed for. We will create you a budget sheet after you've identified your program, so you can see what else you can expect to be paying. So things like airfare, that'd be an out-of-pocket expense, passport if you don't have one, visa if needed, and then of course your personal expenses. So we'll have a budget sheet for you to look at so you can get a big picture of what the expenses will be for your program. Michigan Tech and Provider scholarships. So Michigan Tech offers scholarships. For example, the College of Engineering has a scholarship for students from College of Engineering who are going to be studying abroad. Some of our providers also offer scholarships. USAC in particular, they are a nonprofit, so all the proceeds go back into their programming. So they do have a lot of scholarships to choose from. Semester at Sea does offer some full ride scholarships. It's very competitive, as you can imagine. Semester at Sea also matches the Pell Grant. So if you are a Pell Grant recipient, they match dollar for dollar for the Pell Grant. And then moving down to national and international scholarships, going back to the Pell Grant. So Benjamin A. Gilman is for students who are Pell Grant eligible. So if you are receiving the Pell Grant, you can then apply to the Gilman, and that award amount varies between $1,000 and $5,000. The Bourne is for students who are going to a country that speaks a critical language. So for example, Arabic, Hebrew, Japanese, Chinese, these are considered critical need languages. So if you're going to a country that speaks that language and you plan to be taking courses in that language, you are then eligible for the Bourne. The award amount varies depending on when you're going abroad. So for summer, it's about $8,000. Semester program would be $10,000, and a full year, so academic year, the award amount would be up to $20,000. Bourne is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Defense. So if you were to receive this scholarship, there will be a follow-on like service requirement. So after you graduate from Michigan Tech, you'll be expected to complete a service position in one of the Department of Defense's like divisions. So whether it's like NASA, FBI, Air Force, those types of departments, that would be a requirement if you do receive the Bourne. Fund for Education Abroad is kind of a one-stop shop for scholarships. You submit an application, and then there's a committee who reviews all the applications and then decides out of their pot of scholarships what you're then eligible for. There's a lot more on our financial resources that you can take a look at. Now I will go over the application process. It's pretty basic. I like to see that students start planning at least 12 to 18 months in advance, so you can save money, you can have your courses figured out, and all the other logistics that come along with going abroad. So your first step is the Michigan Tech application. So this is required for all of our programs. So Via TRM is a software that we use to showcase all of the program options, and that's also where the application is. So you would sign in with your Michigan Tech ISO, and you'll create a profile. Then you'll have access to the program, so you can browse what's available. Once you've identified your program, you'll submit and complete our application, and then you'll have some post-acceptance documents to fill out. Then there's the program application. So depending on which program you're applying to, they will also have an application for you to submit. So you have to have completed and been accepted by Michigan Tech before you can complete the program application. So they'll have a number of post-acceptance documents as well. And keep in mind that they have deadlines, so deadlines vary across the board. Then the next part in the application process I would consider to be the pre-departure process. So that's course planning. So I mentioned before that we would get courses pre-approved or evaluated before you go for Michigan Tech credit. The study abroad office facilitates that process, so they would assist you with that. There's a nice spreadsheet that we use to keep track of the courses you want to take and what the equivalent credit is. So that could take a little bit of time. Scholarships, so that's the time that you want to start applying for scholarships because you've identified your program, you've applied, been accepted, or about to be accepted. So you want to be then applying for scholarships. You'll want to eventually, secure your airfare. If you don't have a passport and you do want to study abroad, I recommend you get your passport as soon as possible. It is valid for 10 years, but the processing time may take a little bit, like maybe 2 to 3 months for you to get your passport back. So again, if you're thinking about going abroad, get your passport as soon as you can, so that's not holding up your process. You can count on visa being needed for programs that are a semester or a year long. So if you are looking to go for a semester or a year, you're definitely going to need a visa. But if you're going in the summer, most locations will not require you to have a visa. For example, Europe, if you're there for less than 90 days, you will not need a visa for most European countries. And then insurance, so that's medical and travel insurance. That's something we would go over during the pre-departure stage. This is kind of like an overview to give you an idea of the timeline. Again, 12 to 18 months is preferred, but if you are looking to go next semester, for example, we can try to make that work. Here are the deadlines. So if you are a first-year student, you must complete 2 semesters at Michigan Tech before you can go abroad. So keep that in mind. And then all deadlines are the semester before your study abroad term. So for example, if you are looking to study abroad in the spring, October 15th will be the deadline, Michigan Tech's deadline. So yeah, these are Michigan Tech's deadlines. And if you're looking to go abroad in the fall, April 1st is your deadline. And if you're looking to go abroad in the summer, March 1st is your deadline. So that is the application that would be on via TRN. So your immediate next steps, write down your study abroad wish list and set some goals. So where are you thinking about going? What are you hoping to accomplish in that experience? Do you know you want to be in a city or maybe a rural location, or do you want to be off the grid? Knowing those things right away will really help you figure out which program makes the most sense for you. And it will definitely help the advisor, your academic advisor, as well as me, guide you through the process. Create your traveler profile via TRM. Let your advisor know you want to study abroad so they can support you with your academic schedule moving forward. You can check out more videos on our YouTube channel. If you haven't met the study abroad advisor yet at Michigan Tech, make sure you reach out to them at some point so you are on their radar and they can start supporting you. Here is our contact information. studyabroad@mtu.edu is the preferred method to reach out to us. You can connect with us by signing up for our newsletter. So fill that out, that's a Google form. And then you can, of course, look at our website for most up-to-date information. I hope this was helpful for you. Again, my name is Vienna Lenarduzzi. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we look forward to working with you soon.